There is a rule among the search and rescue officers in America's national parks. If you see a staircase standing alone in the middle of the deep forest, pristine, detached, leading to nowhere, do not climb it. Do not touch it. Do not even look at it for too long. Official reports call them abandoned structures or logging remnants. But file number 770 tells a different story. These aren't ruins. They are elevators, and they don't go up to heaven, they go down. Part 1. The Green Hell. Location: Olympic National Park, Washington State, June 21, 2023. David Torres was a veteran ranger. He had spent 20 years tracking lost hikers in the Hoh rainforest, a place so dense with moss and ancient ferns that it felt like being underwater. He was leading a solo search for a missing geology student named Sarah. She had vanished 3 days ago without a trace. No footprints, no... There is a rule among the search and rescue officers in America's national parks. If you see a staircase standing alone in the middle of the deep forest, pristine, detached, leading to nowhere, do not climb it, do not touch it, do not even look at it for too long. Official reports call them abandoned structures or logging remnants. But file number 770 tells a different story. These aren't ruins, they are elevators, and they don't go up to heaven. They go down. Part 1. The Green Hell. Location: Olympic National Park, Washington State, June 21st, 2023. David Torres was a veteran ranger. He had spent 20 years tracking lost hikers in the Hoh rainforest, a place so dense with moss and ancient ferns that it felt like being underwater. He was leading a solo search for a missing geology student named Sarah. She had vanished 3 days ago without a trace. No footprints, no dropped gear, nothing. David was 5 miles off the trail, in a sector known as the Dead Zone, because radios never worked there. The silence was absolute. No birds, no wind. Then he saw it. In a clearing surrounded by giant hemlock trees stood a staircase. It wasn't made of rotting wood or mossy stone. It was polished white marble, spiraling upward about 20 feet into the air, ending abruptly in empty space. It looked like it had been cut from a luxury hotel lobby and dropped into the wildest forest in America. David knew the stories. Don't go near them. But at the base of the stairs, he saw something red. It was Sarah's backpack. Part 2. The Threshold. David approached cautiously, his hand on his bear spray. "Sarah?" The silence swallowed his voice. He reached the backpack. It was empty, except for a geology journal. The last entry was scribbled in shaky handwriting. The birds didn't fly away. They froze. Everything froze. Then the stairs opened. David looked up at the marble structure. It seemed to vibrate with a low hum, barely audible. Against his better judgment, he placed his hand on the cold handrail. The moment his skin touched the marble, the world shifted. The forest didn't disappear, but the light changed. The sky turned a sickly violet color. The trees looked synthetic, and the staircase wasn't ending in thin air anymore. It was shimmering, revealing a holographic door at the top. The stairs weren't just stone. They were a projection, a camouflage. Suddenly, the ground beneath the staircase hissed. The earth parted. It wasn't a staircase to climb. It was a lid, A massive hydraulic ramp began to lower into the forest floor, revealing a tunnel lined with chrome and fluorescent lights. Part 3. The Ark. David drew his service pistol and descended into the ramp. The air inside was sterile, smelling of ozone and recycled oxygen. He wasn't in a cave, he was in a facility. He walked down a long corridor marked Project Ascension, Sector 4. The walls were glass. Behind them were ecosystems, not just plants, but extinct plants. Giant ferns from the Jurassic era, strange glowing fungi, and further down, animals. He saw a cage holding a creature that looked like a wolf, but it walked on 2 legs and had no eyes. A cryptid. David realized with horror that the national park wasn't a preserve for nature. It was a camouflage for this, a massive underground zoo where the government was genetically engineering monsters, or perhaps preserving things that shouldn't exist. He found a control room at the end of the hall. Screens displayed live feeds of the forest above. One screen showed the marble staircase. And there, sitting in a chair facing the monitors, was Sarah. Sarah! David rushed forward. She spun around. Her eyes were wide, pupils dilated. She wasn't tied up. She was holding a tablet. "You shouldn't have come down, Ranger," she said, her voice hollow. "We have to go, now!" David grabbed her arm. "Go where?" Sarah laughed, a dry, terrifying sound. "To the surface? That's just the cage, David. This is the control room." She pointed to the main screen. It showed a map of the United States. Thousands of red dots pulsed across the national parks. Yellowstone, Yosemite, Great Smoky Mountains. "Every park covers a facility," she whispered. "Project Ascension isn't about studying animals. It's about the Great Filter. The surface is dying. Climate change, war, radiation. They are building the new world down here, and they need test subjects to see if humans can adapt to the underground." She looked at David with tears in her eyes. "Why do you think people go missing, David? We don't get lost, we get selected." Suddenly the facility's alarm blared. "Breach detected! Purge protocol initiated!" "Run," she said, shoving him back toward the ramp. "I can't leave. I've seen the files. If I leave, they release the specimens." "I'm not leaving you. You have to tell them," she screamed. She hit a button on the console. The glass wall of the wolf creature's cell began to rise. David looked at the monster and then at Sarah. He turned and ran. Part 5. The Memory Wipe. David sprinted up the ramp as the sirens wailed. He burst out into the violet light of the false forest. He scrambled away from the marble staircase just as the hydraulic door slammed shut, sealing the earth. The staircase stood there, silent and innocent again. The sky turned back to blue. The birds started singing instantly, as if someone had unpaused a tape. David stumbled back to his jeep, miles away. He drove like a madman to the ranger station. He burst in, shouting about the underground lab, the monsters, Sarah. The chief ranger looked at him calmly, too calmly. "David, you've been out there for 3 days. You're dehydrated. There is no Sarah. We don't have a missing person report for a Sarah." "I saw her. I saw the stairs," David screamed. 2 men in suits stepped out from the back office. They wore the triangular lightning bolt pin of the Majestic Group. "Heat exhaustion," one of the men said, pulling out a syringe. "He's hallucinating. He needs Protocol 770. David reached for his gun, but he was too slow. The needle pierced his neck. Darkness took him. Epilogue. The Trailhead. Date, 3 months later. David Torres sat in a rocking chair on the porch of a retirement home in Florida. He stared blankly at the sunset. He had been discharged for early onset dementia. He didn't remember the facility. He didn't remember Sarah. But every night he drew the same picture in his sketchbook, over and over. A white marble staircase in the middle of a dark forest, and at the bottom of the page, in shaky handwriting, he wrote one warning. If you find the stairs, don't look up. They are watching. File number 770, closed.